Senator Hanson has already outlined our party's response to this, so I won't go into that. I want to make it very clear that Pacific Islanders, in my experience, are wonderful people. Very friendly, very, very friendly. Fiji is the friendliest country on earth, so I'm told. We have many Pacific Islanders in the south of Brisbane. I've come across them in the regions. Kalgoorlie, when I've worked in Kalgoorlie. They're stars in the NRL. Wonderful people. Got no issue with the people of the Pacific Islands. What I have got an issue with is the people in this chamber. Not just those who are here now, but people in the Senate are largely responsible for destroying this country. I'm going to talk very briefly on how. For 5 days, we discussed a bill last week, and for half a day today we've discussed that same bill, about sea dumping, all based on the stuff that comes out of the south end of a northbound bull. It's complete rubbish. COVID. Tens of thousands of people died needlessly. There's something that was supposedly based on the science, but now it's coming out the injections were not safe and not effective. But we were told the science was there. What a lie. We are spending trillions of dollars in foregone income, and heaven knows how much our descendants, our children, our grandchildren will spend, and opportunities they will lose on climate. And I'll come to that in a minute. There's not one shred of evidence ever been given in this parliament. Not one shred. Then we talk about the environment. All kinds of things done in the name of the environment without any evidence. Murray-Darling Basin, no evidence. The Coorong Lakes in South Australia, the Murray Mouth, no evidence. In fact, these are contradicting the evidence. And everyone here is asleep. This parliament stopped long ago making decisions on data, and now it actually contradicts the data and no one is awake enough to even care. The trillions of dollars being spent. Absence of data drives, or contradictions of the actual real-world data characterise our decisions made in this parliament, characterise policies made by the major parties in this parliament, and characterise legislation. In my previous work, as an engineer and as an executive, if we ignored the data, people died, just like they did in COVID, because of COVID injections that have killed people. Science is often touted in this chamber as justification for various policies, yet it's never presented. Science is wonderful. It gave us objectivity. It gave us freedom. From the days when, prior to science, when the biggest muscle, the biggest financial, the strongest financial warrior, the strongest religion prevailed, and then suddenly science emerged and gave us objectivity, and suddenly freedom emerged. Let me tell you briefly what science is. First thing, it relies on empirical scientific data. It's based on objective data, objective observations. And no one in this chamber does that on climate, COVID or the environment. But the data is not enough. When I first came into the chamber, I used that word back in 2016, empirical data. And all the journalists and some of the politicians scurried off to find out what empirical meant. It means objective, measured data. But that by itself is not enough. It needs to be presented within a logical scientific framework that proves cause and effect. No one has presented the logical scientific points that show that carbon dioxide from human activity affects climate and needs to be changed. And yet we now have Pacific Islanders coming in here, or supported coming in here, on that basis. Yet it's never been done. And then it's also backed up, a third part of science is backed up with hard references. Scientific references, not just peer-reviewed, because peer-reviewed can be done by anyone, but actually based upon assessing the papers objectively. They're the three criteria: empirical scientific data, logical scientific points that prove cause and effect. The whole of this climate scam, the climate fraud, has no one ever anywhere in the world pointed out the specific quantified effect of carbon dioxide from human activity on any aspect of climate, not temperatures, not snowfall, not droughts, not storm frequency or severity or duration, nothing. There's not one shred of basis for policy, because that is the basis for policy. There's not one shred of evidence. I've even heard a list of scientists who are afraid of the climate, but no science. We even have a minister who's sitting in the chair now who asked for evidence. She gave me 25 papers plus, not one shred of evidence. Some of them even said there is no warming going on. Amazing, and yet she listed them as evidence. And we hear things like science says, the science says, and not one person has distinguished themselves by characterising any of that above natural variability, as Senator Hanson said earlier today. Natural variability is cyclical, inherent, natural variation. That's all we see in the climate signal. And the Greens won't debate me. I first asked Senator Larissa Waters on Thursday, the 7th of October 2010, at a public forum at New Farm, where we both shared the dais, along with 3 other people. I challenged her to a debate. She jumped to her feet faster than I've ever seen her move and said, "I will not debate you." She came up to make sure. She came up to me after the forum and said, "I will not debate you." I challenged her again, along with Mark Butler, Labor's climate spokesman at the time, on Tuesday, 14th of June 2016, at the Solar Council Forum, where I was not a participant, and I challenged them to debate. Both ran from the challenge. Monday, the 9th of September 2019, the first day I challenged the Greens officially in the Senate, and Senator Di Natale and Senator Larissa Waters. Never have they debated with me. Never have they debated with me. They will not present the science. They won't treat the Senate with respect of presenting the empirical scientific data and logical scientific point. Never. I'm still waiting. And why won't they debate? Because they know they haven't got the science. And yet we're sending now, thanks to the government, millions of dollars to the people of Tuvalu because their sea levels are rising, when the data shows that is not happening anywhere near the extent, and it's all natural. The 2 biggest problems we have in this country is shoddy governance, driven by a lack of data, a lack of objectivity, and reinforced by denial. The second thing is ceding our sovereignty. That doesn't apply in this debate, but we are ceding the future of our children and the future of our country by not using objective, empirical scientific data within logical scientific points. Thank you.